And I forgot what link it was. There it is.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Why So Sidious a Nerd podcast. Joining me today is my co-host David Cochran, and we are covering the second half of the final season of Andor. And don't forget to check out some of our other episodes. We do have a new nerd therapy dropping lately, just some random hypotheticals, what ifs, would you rathers, those kind of things. We did a heist crew involving all different platforms or fandoms. We do have our latest kind of Week in Geek trailer breakdown episode, breaking down Superman, Peacemaker, Ironheart, and more. The ton of trailers dropped the past couple weeks. And don't forget to check us out on social media at WhySoCidiusPod on Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. We're, of course, on Apple and Spotify and live on YouTube if you're watching right now or afterwards. So before we get into this Andor finale, Dave, have you been watching anything fun lately?
I've been watching so much stuff recently. Probably too much. Like I'm bouncing all over the place. I restarted Peaky Blinders, or I didn't restart, but I continued my watch there. So I just finished season 4 of Peaky Blinders. Nice. Amazing, by the way. Freaking great season. Adrian Brody as the New York Mafia boss kills it. Tom Hardy's great in that season. Fantastic season. So that show's awesome.
The crazy cast.
Dude, a stacked cast. Like you just see big names popping up left and right, just in small roles here and there. And they all, it's well written. I love the style to it. It's Sons of Anarchy, but better.
That was FX,
in most
right?
ways. No, Peaky Blinders is Netflix.
Oh, it's always been Netflix.
Okay. Yeah. They started out there. So yeah, I finished that, or not finished that, but I'm going into season 5 with that. I forgot what else. I'm still watching Ted Lasso, going through that. But I did start The Sopranos.
Hell yeah.
I will say that. So it's my background show. I throw it on if I'm kind of like working or something. I'm doing the dishes, something like that. I throw it on. I'm probably like 6 or 7 episodes into season 1.
Hell
and
yeah.
so far it's just angry Italians. Like it just bounces between angry Italians being angry about something, then it goes to Tony being angry about something, then some guy just getting beat up because he owes somebody money, then therapy session, Tony's kids are brats, angry Italians, and it just kind of keeps to going in this cycle. So it's whatever so far. It's not bad. It's not blowing me away either right now, but I'm gonna keep watching it and whatnot.
Yeah, you got to get more familiar with the characters and more attached to the characters. Then you start to kind of go along with it.
So how far are you into it? Because I know you started it a while ago.
I have the final season to watch, so I've watched 5 seasons.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So you've been cooking. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some good storylines that pop up. Yeah.
6 seasons. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll keep plugging away at that. But movie, I just started The Harder They Fall, which was a suggestion from Lub there. Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, Lakeith Stanfield. Oh, gosh. From Watchmen. I always forget her name.
Regina Hall?
Regina. I don't know.
I've never seen it.
I
wanted to watch it, but I've never actually watched it.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay. Well, it's interesting. It feels like a Tarantino movie, kind of. I guess Jay-Z is like an executive producer on it or something. It's something Weird. That he worked on. So the soundtrack is clearly something JD worked on, or Jay-Z, not JD. A lot of rap and whatnot going through this country movie. But no, it's dope. It's got a good feel to it. I'm halfway through. Regina King. Yep. Okay. It was. But Shot Caller is a movie I just finished watching, and if you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend it. It's a wild movie. Jamie Lannister. So one kind of issue with it is he's is he Finnish, or he's one of those kind of Netherlands area type thing. So when he tries to do the U.S. accent, you could tell he's struggling with it through the whole movie.
Right.
He's a U.S. stockbroker. DUI crash, ends up killing somebody on accident, so he gets sent to like the craziest of crazy prisons with all the violent criminals, murderers, and he goes from sharp or straight edge stockbroker to a high-ranking lieutenant in the white supremacy gangs in prison in
crazy.
California in about 3 years. And it's wild though, the way it's shot. It kind of bounces back and forth. Like we start off with in the middle of the movie, and then it goes back to how we got there periodically until we catch up. I like the way it's shot like that, but it's depressing. Like it's done so well that I feel it like it's something like, wow, life can change so quick. Like one accident, one DUI accident that killed somebody, and boom, this dude lost his whole life. Totally new life. And the way it was shot and done, it felt heavy. Like it just, you feel like you get immersed in it, and it's like, damn, that's wild. This is a wild premise. So I think it's done really well. Crazy movie.
Yeah, I watched that a while back. It was wild, and he has a wife and kid too. He's trying to go back home to, and then eventually, he doesn't go back, right?
He get too far gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got to protect them because the gang starts threatening his family, and so now he's like, oh, okay, so I have to go all in on this to stop my family from being killed from this gang I'm now. It's wild. I guess I won't say any more about it, but if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth checking out.
That's sick. Yeah, no, yeah, I've watched it a while. Whew, crazy movie, very intense.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to the theater. I went to the theaters last night, and we actually switched it up, we saw Final Destination.
Oh, that's
it was actually
very different.
Yeah, from Lilo and Stitch. I was like, I don't really want to see that. Yeah, it was good. It was fun. They kind of changed it up for the premise. It was a little bit different than just having, one person have a premonition. It was like her grandma. But then it was pretty formulaic when it comes to Final Destination after that. Like there's only one way you can really do those movies. But they got creative with a couple of them. Like I know the lawnmower one was in all the trailers. That was, it was, because I knew it was coming too. So
Horrible.
You're like, oh no, here it comes. Yeah, but that's
It seemed
deaths.
brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, it was all right though. Like, because I've seen it's getting decent reviews. It did good at the box office opening weekend.
It was. I mean, I think the first two are pretty solid for Final Destination movies. Then like 3, 4, 5. I don't even think I've seen I don't think I saw the fifth one once. Those ones are pretty garbage. And then this one was kind of more like the first two, I'd say, on that level. I did watch Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind. My wife picked that one. I thought it was going to be like this. I had no idea what the movie is about. I just knew it was one of Jim Carrey's first serious roles. First 20 minutes, it's like, wow, this is going to be like a fucking rom-com. Then he like wakes up the next morning, and his girlfriend, Kate Winslet from Titanic, has erased all of her memories of him. And then he goes to erase the memories of her, and it's whole like journey through. It's like a Black Mirror episode. So it was good. It was like
it was depressing too.
Right.
Like I remember it being super sad at one point where it was like breaking me watching some of those scenes.
But spoiler alert, it was one of those movies where the beginning of the movie is the end, and where the scene where you first think they meet is actually the scene of them after they've both erased their memories of each other, and it's fate bringing them back together again. And they'll probably go through the same cycle over and over, but you never know. It could work out better this time.
Yeah. No, it's a creative movie though, and it was a big step away from what Jim Carrey was known for. And I think he's done surprisingly well with roles like that. I think he has some solid, serious roles.
Yeah. And then the show I've been watching lately, of course, I'm watching X-Files too. That's good as it's ever been. But I want to talk about The Rehearsal. So I've sent you a couple of Snapchats. You ever watch Nathan For You? Did you ever watch Nathan For You back in the day on Comedy Central?
No, I know who he is. I mean, I saw clips,
concept.
I think maybe once or twice. Yeah, I know his concept. But when you were sending these snaps, I had no idea what it was. Who the hell is Love watching right now?
So I think I talked about the first season on this show, but it was basically a trivia group, and they like all meet at this bar every week, and there was like a shy guy on the team who wanted to talk to one of the girls. And so he recreated the bar, like every single detail, and hired actors to play all the members of his trivia group and like the bartender and shit. And then like took him through all the simulations of what he should say and what he should do and like how it would go wrong. It was so wild. But then this season is about like pilots, and he actually rebuilt an entire terminal. I think it's like the Denver airport. And it's about like the black box recordings where a lot of the times when a plane crashes, there's like a weird dynamic between the pilot and co-pilot, to where the co-pilot doesn't feel like they have the ability to speak up, where they're like, hey, I think you should do that. And the pilot's like, sometimes they're like, no, shut up, I got this. Like, don't tell me what to do. And it's like, damn. And then they like end up crashing into the ground. So he goes through that and like trying to get them because he like records them and like they don't even like talk to each other. Like a lot of the times, a pilot and a co-pilot have never even spoken to each other before, which is kind of weird if you're about to like fly 200 people in the
Yeah.
air. You know what I mean?
You'd like your co-pilot and pilot to have some team chemistry going on before
Right.
you. Yeah, yeah.
And he also tries to help a pilot with his sex life. He puts him through simulations with actors in his apartment. It's super awkward, super weird. He redoes Sully's life from Sully Sullenberger. He does that whole thing, and
The Hudson Bay
yeah,
guy.
yeah, it's so. And then I think he just has an idea in the beginning and then just goes with it. Because last season it led to him wanting to be a dad, and they like simulated him having a dad where the kid like aged like a year every couple days or something. So it's a wild show, but it's very like thought provoking and like something I've never seen before. It's one of a kind, that's for sure.
Interesting. By the way, for clear, we're getting some messages here. Come up. I'm just gonna check, and then I'm still here with.
I can
Right
hear
now
you.
it's with you.
I can hear you a little bit, but you're delayed
Which is
and
so.
yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Are you here? All right, we're going through some technical difficulties. Dave has left the studio, but we will get into the episode. So there will be a spoiler warning. We're going to start with, of course, episodes 7 through 9, then get into 10 through 12. We'll do a quick summary first. As the rebellion grows bolder, Cassian and Luthen target ISP agent Deidre Miro to spark a crackdown. The Empire's brutal response leads to the Gorman massacre, deepening resistance. Mon Mothma publicly denounces the Empire in the Senate, risking everything. Cassian, reunited with Bix, embraces the role in his fight, helping Mon escape and strengthening the rebel cause. So episode 7 is kind of the build-up, episode 8 is the climax, and episode 9 is the whole fallout. So episode 7 first. So we're basically 2 years till A New Hope now. We're getting right up to the start of it. The Yavin Rebel base is up and running. Things are moving a lot smoother. A lot of these, splinter cells have probably joined forces by now. We do see that Wilman is back. And Cassian's not really wrong for asking him questions. Like, he's been gone for how long with Saw Gerrera? We don't know what's been going on with him the whole time. We see that Luthen isn't really a part of Yavin, as we're not really surprised. He's off kind of doing his own thing, but he is still kind of the reason why everyone's together at the same time. So how'd you feel about this, Yavin base up and running? Pretty cool.
Very cool. It was very cool to see this thing that was one of the first things we ever saw with our introduction to the world of Star Wars.
Right.
Was this rebel base on this forest planet of Yavin 4 or Moon, whatever it is. The first images we have, like when we think of Star Wars, they're rushing to the swings. They're getting loaded up to go fight at the Death Star Wars. All these groups of people we've never seen. We get to see it in the modern day. And I know we're and one saw it in 4, but we got in this episode and saw it in the last episode of the season 2. We got a little shot to I thought it was cool. I'm getting time. Cool going back. I would have liked more of this to happen in the first half of the season in terms of spending time with Cyril's mom. But
you get what you get. Okay, so we head over to Gorman, and it is not going well since that first attack, but there is a new mission for Cassian, and he needs to take out Deidre because she knows too much. He's going to start going after Luthen. And we do get a scene with Deidre and with Cyril also where he's starting to realize he's the pawn and the Empire is just staging this for a takeover. And Deidre kind of just gives him a kiss to keep him on board. She knows, he's starting to get a little bit too smart. So, how do you like this Cyril Deidre dynamic? It's one of their final scenes. Well, he does go back later and gets a little physical with her, though.
Yeah, he does. I mean, it was fine. It was interesting. It was one of my least favorite plot points of this season was the Cyril and Deidre thing. I was a little intrigued at first, and I liked a lot of the pathways that we got into the Empire with Deidre, but as a whole, the whole Cyril and Deidre thing didn't really do much for me.
Yeah. We do get this force healer scene. So Cassian thinks it's all kind of mythical, not really, snake oil salesman, kind of like how we think of psychics these days. But she knows right where the wound is. And he's like, okay, maybe you're getting a little bit too much personal now, kind of talking about how I'm going to be this tool in the future. But I really did love this scene. I think it was a cool way to portray the Force. It was kind of different. I knew they weren't going to do a Jedi or a Sith in this show, but I don't know. How did you feel about this? I feel some people didn't like it. Some people did like it.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was cool. I mean, I forget how far removed we are from Order 66 at this point. I always mix it up. I think we're about like
15 years.
16 years. Yeah, something like that. So there's still going to be remnants of the Force, and it's the same thing we see in Rogue One with the blind monk who's talking about the Force, and nobody really takes him seriously because it's gone away for the most part. But I thought it was interesting. It makes sense that there still be people out there who can vaguely feel it. They have stronger connections than others, but they just don't have a teacher, and so they interact with the Force in different ways than the Jedi typically would. So I didn't mind it at all. And I thought it was cool what she said about Cassian. Like you were saying, I think she said something about like some carry a weight of their past, but Cassian's gathering things for a purpose. He has a place to be. She calls him a messenger. And I thought it was a really cool little foreshadowing of his events going on in Rogue One. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Andor and Woman head off to Gorman, and of course Yavin isn't happy about this. You need to report everything to them first. And when they get there, the hotel accommodations are a little bit more strict this time. You could tell last time Andor went there, it was very, relaxed, cash, and now it's like we have to check everything. You need to, be checked every day, whatever it is. So, and there's stormtroopers right above his room. So obviously the Empire has taken over a lot in the last year since that first little rebel attack.
Dude, I really like this whole buildup of Gorman, of stuff's about to pop off. We're seeing the stormtrooper occupied city and stuff like that. Like it's more and more stuff of cool things that we liked from season 1, where we got to see the Empire at work more as they rose to their massive power that we see them at in the original Star Wars movies. So I thought they did a really good job at building the tension. Like throughout the whole episode, more and more is like, oh God, something's about to pop this. Like something's gonna set this thing off, and it's just gonna be horrible. And you could just feel it throughout the whole episode. But I liked when they're leaving Yavin. Cassian goes, the second I need permission coming, I'm gone. And they're like, that time is coming, and it was interesting seeing how the state of the Rebel Alliance at this point and the infighting going on.
Right. And we do get a couple. Mon Mothma is starting to figure out what's going on Gorman. So I do like how all these different stories do converge into this whole Gorman massacre, and then what happens in the final 3 episodes too. So there was a point to all these scattered stories. They did finally intertwine.
There was. I think they could have done it in a better way, a more concise way. I think they spent a little too much time on certain things in the first half of the season, but yeah.
So episode 8.
Oof.
Right? And it's a beautiful city. Like, and then the balls to build that massive armored depot right in the center of town. Like, why? Like, so much. And it's huge.
It's just an office.
Yeah, right.
It's just an office.
Yeah, nothing crazy. They're starting to put the barricades up around the town square to make it so no one can escape. And they're going to be like, hey, you guys can come protest. Like, open protest day. Nothing bad's going to happen. And then we find out that basically we knew it all along, really, but it's confirmed that Patagraz has been also playing Deidre as well. Like, she was just a pawn, just like she thought it was her and him playing Cyril, but it was him playing the both of them. You know, they didn't have any
Right.
power all along. The mining equipment's already there. Everyone's seen it. They're trying to cover it up. We do get "It's a trap" line, which was nice. Caro Rylands, that's the old guy. He's trying to stop the protest, but it's much too late. Cyril is rethinking all of his life, like he's trying to stop these outside agitators when it was the Empire the whole time. So like everything he's doing was pointless, like all of it.
Yep. They're just hiding it from him the whole time. Just yeah, he this is how it's got to be, Deidre. Don't let him know.
Yep. And we do get the famous line that Cassian gives to Jyn Erso in Rogue One, excuse me. Rebellions are built on hope. The hotel front desk guy says it to him, so he's like, oh, I'm going to use that.
That's dope.
Andor sees Deidre posted up with that smug ass look on her face. She has like the meanest mug in the world. Cyril is going to find her, and we see the KX droids. And you think that one that looks at him is K2SO? Think they did that? I think it's just random.
Was that the one? Is that the same one that tossed that lady like 30 feet across the courtyard? Or I guess it's hard to know because it was a different scene.
That,
yeah, that's what my thought was. Though the first time I saw a K2 unit, it was like, that's K2. That's K2 right there. Like,
it was
who
almost
knows
like a
if it
horror
was,
scene,
but
though. The way he walked
dude,
in
they
the door,
were,
and then just like all of them, it was like, oh my god.
in all of these episodes during the Gorman attack, the K2 droids were horrifying. Like horrifying. Just forces of nature, just cold, no emotion, stomping through and just crushing people. Like, and K2 in the later episodes too. It's just those things are scary. Get a few of those and you got a solid army going.
Right. Good thing they kept it and rebuilt it.
Yeah.
Him. So
Jeez.
the protest starts, and the officer is going to send them out there to patrol the crowds, which is such a bad idea. He's obviously doing it to get them agitated and to start something up, get them fired up. There's some Molotov cocktails being passed around, some bottles, and they start singing the national anthem, I'm guessing. And you could just tell in this moment, like, really bad things are about to happen. You know, just the way, like, it was panning back and forth from all the different characters. They were singing, it was getting louder. You're getting more anxious.
Yep.
And this is where Cyril goes up, chokes out Deidre almost, totally loses it. Like, well, okay, all right. And she's like, "No, we'll go home heroes. This has been the plan all along. Like, you just need to, you know, keep going with this for a couple more minutes." And he does walk out. I don't know what gets him to walk out again, but he does. He leaves, goes back down. And this is right before everything pops off, where you see the sniper up on the roof, and it looks like he's gonna shoot one of the protesters, but he shoots one of his own, which is even more perfect, like exactly what
just
the Empire
to start
would
it
do.
off.
And then everyone's like, "All right, fire at will," and they just start killing everyone. Chaos erupts. Like, how did you feel about the brutality in this, especially when it comes to Star Wars? Like, this was something we haven't seen before.
No, we haven't. And again, it was women, children, you know, just innocent civilians are just getting picked off left
Trying
and
to
right.
run away.
Absolutely torn through. Yeah, defenseless, unarmed, back turned, and they're just getting slaughtered. It was just slaughtered. So yeah, it was wild. And the realism of it, again, even all the way to the point of the planned government sniper kicking off a peaceful protest, you know, the whole double agent back there fires them off and sends it's just all planned chaos by the Empire. And it just felt so real throughout this whole thing. It felt like events we felt. It was done so well in this episode. It felt so heavy because of that. Like, you felt almost like this was a real event, a real tragedy happening that we were watching. It was wild.
Yeah, and Enza, the main guy's daughter, just died from, she got yeeted a little bit, but I didn't think she was going to die, but maybe back of the head on the ground did it to her. She just got, like, thrown 20 feet and then just kind of landed and rolled, and that killed her.
I'm trying to remember who Enza is.
It was a K2 droid. It was the main guy's daughter.
main guy's daughter.
of the
Who's the main guy? What am
the
I?
old guy,
The
the
main
old
guy
man.
of.
Of the rebels on Gorman. That little they spoke the French
Oh
language. Yeah,
yes. That's right. Yeah, I put in my note that lady got yeeted 30 feet, but I didn't.
yeah,
I forgot that was her name.
that was.
Yeah, no, that was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know what the guy's name was either. Yeah, I called him Jose in my notes, but
Caro, I guess. Caro.
Caro. I like Jose better.
We get Cyril versus Andor. This was a cool little moment where we got the Thanos meme of "You took everything from me. I don't know who you are," because
know who you are.
because Cyril knows Andor. This has obviously been his entire mission besides being played. His other mission was to stop Andor. He caused him to be relocated and reassigned. But Andor's never seen him. Like he doesn't know who he is. I guess
Right.
he saw his back for a couple seconds, but they never met face to face.
Right.
So how'd you like this fight scene? I mean, Cyril held his own, I'd say.
Yeah, he had nothing to lose, it seemed, at this point.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't Cassian just about to snipe Deidre, too, right when
right.
Cyril came running up and hit him? So it was good. It was an intense scene, and it ended unexpectedly because I believe Cassian was on the ground at some point, and homeboy Jose rolled up and shot him right in the head. It's like, dude, right when that happened, my brain just went to, man, all those Cyril storylines and the dinners and everything, just for him to get dome shot in the back of the head. like who was Uncle Harvin? Who was the guy who hooked up Cyril there? We never found out who this uncle was, but we sure spent a hell of a lot of time on it. But it was a good scene. Yeah, it was, solid way to end Cyril's line here.
What a character, though, honestly. Like,
yeah, he was
just
interesting.
A random Star Wars side character to see like that. That's something we've never seen before. Just a random officer trying to make his way up, messing up. He's a total nerd. Falls in love with an officer. You know, so it was a very interesting character that we can only get in the type of show like Andor.
Well, and it was nice too because the other aspect of his character is he truly believed the Empire was the good guys.
Yeah.
And as we saw, especially more so in this season, I felt like we saw a lot more scumbag, just outright scumbag Imperial officers in this season, where almost every Imperial character was like, "Oh yeah, they're a terrible person right there. Like they don't care about anybody else. They're a terrible person. They're the bad guys. They probably know the Empire is the bad guys, and they don't care." But Cyril, he legit thought they were on the right side of things. So that's what made his character a little bit more interesting to follow
until the end.
Yeah, until he realized that the woman of his dreams was lying to him the whole damn time.
Do you feel bad for his mom?
God, no. I feel bad for Cyril for having that mom. That's about it. I don't feel bad for her at all.
We get another crazy KX droid scene where everyone starts running away. I think it's right when Cassian's about to leave. And everyone's like running through this like gateway, and then all of a sudden the K2 droids are following them, and one guy gets thrown against the wall, smashed, and falls on the ground. Like, holy crap!
It was gnarly.
And this is where we do get the birth or the death of K2, and then the rebirth later. But that's the one who Andor, is firing at will at, and then Willman comes up and just crashes the transporter straight into him. That works.
Perfect.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, on IMDb, this is like a 9.9 or a 9.8. Like, they really rated this high. Yeah. The last, 6 episodes all got over a 9.5.
Really? I mean, I love the last 4 or 5 episodes in this one, too. And I liked episode 7, but I don't think this was my favorite episode of Andor. I don't think it was the best of either of the seasons, so, yeah.
Episode 9. This is all about Mon Mothma. We're back on Coruscant. There's going to be this Senate meeting post-slaughter, and of course, history is written by the victors. And Bale basically says, he can't run and hide. He's going to die fighting, which in the near future, you just wait, buddy. It's coming, okay? You only got a couple more years left.
Where does he die?
On Alderaan, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That'll do it.
Um,
What you get for
Andor and
getting
Clea.
recast?
Andor and Clea meet up. They're about to, he. Oh wait, how does he get sent there? Do they say how he gets sent to Coruscant, or does he just get like a will? The
She sends an emergency call.
That's right. The bat
And he
signal.
thinks he's responding to Luthen, and then when he shows up, Clay is like, "Oh, of course it's you."
All
Or
right.
wait, is that in a later? That might be in a later
No, that's
episode.
episode 10. That's episode 10.
That's after, yeah. So I don't know. I don't remember why he came back for this one. Oh, it was because Luthen summoned him.
That's right.
He's he,
Luthen did.
yeah, he summoned him to rescue Mon Mothma.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's listening devices in Mon Mothma's office. They've been listening to her the whole time. Her assistant has been working for Luthen. She finds that out, so a lot of things going wrong for her. Luthen comes up to her. Basically, she says, in the end, you're the only one I can trust. That's, her messing with him. Like, I can't trust anybody but you, apparently. You're the only one that's right
Right.
about everything. And we do get kind of the confirmation, maybe, that Kolma was taken care of after, that one night at the party.
Yeah, he did.
The Senate meeting starts. And they've obviously twisted the whole story where it's the savagery of the Gorman attack, insurgency, talking about the Imperial officers who died, and they're only calling up senators who support their decision until Bill comes up and basically, acts a, what, I don't know what it was called, like the something clause or whatever, emergency
Yeah.
powers. Some Jar Jar Binks
Some
shit.
emergency deal. Yeah.
And Mon Mothma starts speaking. So, did we get this in Rebels, or did we get the one on the ship in Rebels? We get the speech on the ship in Rebels, right? Or is it both?
I don't think we got this.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think this was the first. It was great.
And the death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil. Like, bars. And the senators are not happy with her. They're just like yelling, booing. She talks about, there was a genocide that just happened. This monster we helped created, Emperor Palpatine. So she
Dude.
went off. She went off on him.
Got goosebumps. The monster will come for all of us, and that monster is Emperor Palpatine. It was like, oh, got me feeling some kind of way hearing that name right there. Like, oh, that was a great scene. Great speech.
She's an amazing character. Definitely a
Yeah.
character I didn't know or care too much about in the original trilogy, and now it's like, damn, she was pretty badass. She's up there with Luthen for me.
Yeah, they did a great job creating her and showing how like significant she was in the forming of the rebellion. Like her and Luthen were massive parts of the reason why the rebellion's even a thing. So yeah, it was cool getting that backstory.
Cassian, Cassian's there the second the speech is over, and he basically welcomes her to the rebellion after that. They're escaping outside, and her driver comes up, and she's like, "No, he's an Imperial spy." And Andor's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Just shoots him.
I got her. I got her.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He's great at shooting people who are not expecting to be shot. He's done it a
Quick
lot
draw.
in this series.
It was kind of super easy, barely inconvenience to escape, but I guess they did kind of avoid everyone the whole time. No one saw them, but not a lot of conflict. They got out of there pretty scot-free.
They did. I thought it was, solid. There was a couple tense moments where Cassian had to shoot a guy. But yeah, overall, it wasn't like the Leia Obi-Wan escape scene by any means or anything like that.
Why'd you have to remind me? She's out there. Leia.
Yeah, she is somewhere.
In someone's trench coat. Nah, she's a little
There
she's a
you go.
little big for that now.
Scooby doing. Depends who's writing the show.
Right. And to wrap this 3-episode arc up, we do get a final scene with Bix. Andor
Dude,
really wants
yeah.
that life with her, but it's just not realistic at this point, and I think they both know it. She knows it. So she leaves. She doesn't want to be a distraction. I think it all leads back to that scene with the Force Healer too, where Bix was really into what she said, what the lady said about, you're a big piece of the future, the rebellion, obviously. And she says, when it's over and we won, we can be together, which is obviously a tragic ending to their story.
So sad, bro. Like, and especially because she made that decision as soon as she realized, oh, he's willing to leave this for me. Like, oh, I
Right.
have to leave now. Like, I can't sacrifice that. Like, this dude's important. I can't take him away from the cause. So, hey, what a sacrifice. But God, that was, yeah, it was heartbreaking. It was so sad. What a
Mm-hmm.
sad situation and scene, especially the viewer knowing, like you said, Cassian ain't gonna be around after the Empire's defeated. He dies. Yeah, it was rough. But he gets K2 the next scene, so that was a
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
little
Oh,
pick me
yeah.
up.
Right, right. There we go. Yes, he gets K2. And so we're talking about Bix. There was the final shot of the season is Bix holding a young baby. So most likely is Cassian's son. So there are a couple
Yeah.
spin-offs we could do from this show. I don't know if I want to see Bix,
Yeah.
but
I don't need to see Cassian's son or daughter.
no.
I'm good. But
Yeah.
that felt kind of unnecessary, showing Bix having Cassian's child. I don't know. That one felt like, I could have done without that, Tony. I need
Yeah.
extra sadness.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, this episode, though, again, that speech in the Senate and earlier another senator yelling, remember this is going to be you one day. Like the Gorman senator, I think he's
Mm-hmm.
yelling it to all the other senators and nobody will listen to him. And it's just that chilling message of, you're not stepping in because it's not you, but it will be you one day. And it's that classic saying with the Nazis and everything, nobody helped when it was them. Then when it was the next group, they didn't help. And by the time it was them, there was nobody else to help them. It's like, yep, it was just the Empire taking out Gorman and taking out Jeddah next. And it was a lot of really heavy themes and great kind of monologues and speeches in this episode. It was really a really solid conclusion to this arc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's move on to 10 through 12. Quick little summary. Luthen Rail is captured by Di Jamiro, but chooses martyrdom over compromising the rebellion. Clea ensures his death and escapes. Cassian orchestrates a daring rescue of Clea, further solidifying his commitment to the cause. Mon Mothma's political maneuvers intensify as she navigates the complexities of the rebellion and personal sacrifice. The series concludes with Cassian fully integrated into the rebellion, setting the stage for the events of Rogue One. I loved episode 10, man. Like,
Yes.
it was definitely one of my favorites of the season. It's all about Luthen and the flashbacks. I'm not a big fan of flashbacks, but I think they did an amazing job in this episode telling the story, and it was very necessary. It felt kind of out of place at first, but by the end, it was really nice, right?
Yes, agreed. At first, I think the second or third flashback, I was kind of like, okay, she's still in the ship in the scene. She's still hiding. We keep coming back to the same thing. Where are we going with this? But no, by the end of it, it was just like, that was one of my favorite episodes for sure. Like the whole backstory to Luthen, the way he goes out, like, it's just, we thought this series was about Cassian Andor, right? Leading into Rogue One and everything. Nobody expected this Luthen Rail character to be this big of a focal point. And dude, he's one of literally maybe the legend of the rebellion. Like, he is the reason this happened. And what a cool character, cool unexpected story. Great addition to the lore, this character here. So it was just a great finishing episode for an amazing character that got introduced in this show.
Ring the bells for Luthen.
Absolutely, ring him. I don't have that sound effect.
He has a great line, though. I think we used up all the perfect. Clea says, don't go into it unless everything's right, everything's perfect. And he says, I think we used up all the perfect, which is great foreshadowing because we know what's about to happen now.
Right.
Undercover ISB. What's his name again?
I forgot.
Some with the J or something. He knows about the Death Star.
I forgot.
The energy program is a lie. They've been working on it for over a decade. And then we see Luthen kind of acts like, yeah, I'll get you out of here safely. But the next scene, we see that he's dead.
He's
So
just
Luthen
dead on the
killed
bench.
him. Luthen's brutal.
And at first I was like, geez, Luthen, that was a little. But then when the rest of the events roll out, it's like, oh, that was probably the right move. You had to. Couldn't leave him alive. It was too big of a risk.
Yeah. Let me see here. I know it starts with a J.
Jarvis. There you go.
Really?
Oh, you're right. It was like a Journey.
Lonnie.
Lonnie.
Lonnie
Knew it started
Jung.
with a J.
Lonnie
Jung.
Jung.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is. So, Deidre just shows up to his shop. And I do kind of like the back and forth they have at first where they're both trying to hide it like they don't actually know each other at first. They're kind of playing each other.
Yeah, that's a nice
Um,
touch.
the vintage Imperial Starpath unit. She just whips it out, and he's like, "Oh shit! Like, oh crap!" Um, and it was kind of cool how he was just hiding in plain sight the whole time. Like, and she's just like, "You've been right here underneath our
So
nose
pissed.
the
She
whole
was so
time."
pissed.
And he's like, "You're too late. The rebellion flew away. It's everywhere now." Like, and he takes it, tries to take himself out, like performs some seppuku kind of stuff, so he can't be
Yep.
tortured.
Yep.
And this is where we get the first flashback where he finds her as a child, and it cuts, and Clea's about to go on this suicide mission. It seems like where as we know, he's basically a father to her.
Right.
I like the camera angle perspective from the box or where she's hiding from too, where everything's through her perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What was that Naboo in one of those flashbacks?
yeah, I was.
That looked like Naboo, and then that was like the first time where they started their rebellion. They set off the explosion, and he was basically asking Clea, like, "This has to be your decision too. Like, you have to know what we're getting into and consent." And she consented, and boom, sets off a bomb in Naboo.
Mm-hmm. And dude, young her is a badass. Like she kicked ass at a young age. She gets present time. Clea is in the hospital, and that there's that old alien in the wheelchair that she's like pushing around. It's kind of funny, a little goofy. Not a ton of aliens like that in Andor, but that felt very like
Yeah,
prequel to me. That character.
or out of the Mandalorian or something.
Mm-hmm. And it looked like when they were on the boot, it looked like there was a Jedi on the bridge for a second, but obviously the timing's off. But in the background, you see someone in a brown cloak walking across the bridge. But it's obvious. I mean, a Jedi couldn't just be out in the open at this point.
Yeah, because that would have been like 4 or 5 years after Order 66, I think.
Right, and there were stormtroopers back there on the bridge too. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Someone cosplaying.
Yeah. Style.
And yeah, she comes up and she takes him off of life support. So she finally makes her way to the 19th floor, starts taking out different officers standing there at guard. Pretty sad moment, especially seeing like we talked about with the flashbacks where, because the scenes they had back and forth, like you could tell they both cared about each other, but it was kind of this like snarky relationship where they were always kind of going back and forth on their ideas. It was a father-daughter relationship, but after these flashbacks, you could tell that they've been together since she was a child,
Right. Well, and they even had the scene. She was like, "Am I your daughter now?" And he said, "Well, when it suits us." But it was, a little cheeky nod at the fact that, yeah, that was obviously a father-daughter relationship going on there. The only issue I had with this, so her sneaking and everything was good, but they wouldn't let anybody on the 19th floor. They're locking it down. Absolutely nobody on the 19th floor. Then she sets off this large explosion, and then all these guards run by her as she's on the 19th floor, and none of them said anything to her. Like 4 or 5 of them just ran by her as she walked by. I'm like, well, you're on the 19th floor now. No, nobody thought that was suspicious or anything. And then later on, she runs into more people and has to kill them. But
right.
I don't know. It was a nitpick, I guess. But
Episode 11. We get a Krennic shows up. And he starts questioning Deidre. And Jung used her clearance codes. Lonnie. But she was just trying to get to Luthen the whole time, but didn't do it by the book, so she definitely broke some rules. Going out there on your own without saying anything is a bad idea. Like, she just showed up at Luthen's office without saying anything first, went alone, took him back, like, definitely went against orders. So, I'm sorry, I got a brain fart. We cut the Yavin, and William gets the message. The bat signal has been lit again. We see Andor and K2 playing dominoes. So they're about to go back to Coruscant one more time. And he leaves again without permission. And we do get our classic K2 and Cassian banter, like from Rogue One.
We had great humor between them in this.
Right.
It was great.
And Willem stayed back to take the heat, like a real one. I do like him. I kind of wish we got more with him and Saw for the fallout of him and Saw Gerrera, but I guess he just kind of
smoking on that gas.
Right. So Clea's over at Luthen's hideout, and she gets the signal out, but then she sends another message while the ISB is listening in, which gives them a tip on where her location. Andor arrives. Those Y-Wings are looking pretty good. Pretty nice ship he shows up on, huh?
Were those Y or U wings?
Oh, you're right. Excuse me.
Yeah, because in my brain I was thinking Y the whole time, and then they would show up, and I was like, well, that's not a Y wing though. And then they were flying. The U wing looks dope. Yeah.
And Andor's just going here blind. Like, he has no idea what's going on, who's gonna be inside this room, and the tactical unit's on the way. And this is where Clea breaks the news to Cassian about the Death Star. Everything we've been searching for, this is a super weapon. Gorman, Scarif, Jedha, all of it's led to this, and now this is what Luthen died for, to find out this information, basically, you know? And I'll say, fuck Yavin and the Luthen haters. He stayed for this to figure all this out. Like, they should show him some more respect.
Well, they do this all the time. That he died for this to get that info. They didn't believe it. Jin gets this info from Saw Gerrera. A bunch of people die for it. They don't believe her. You know, they just constantly not believing people as they come in with these information that they got. It's that old school mentality. It's the still Senate. You know, they still got the senator mentality instead of the rebellion mentality. And sometimes you got to live a little and listen to your soldiers there. But Clea was driving me nuts in this scene, though. Like, just go with Cassian. He's your rescue. Why are you sitting here arguing and saying you won't go with him and telling him to leave without you? Just go. You guys are wasting time. Oh, it was driving me nuts.
All right, episode 12.
Oh, hold up, though.
Okay.
Episode 11, my favorite part of this whole episode was Krennic grilling Deidre.
What was that? Sorry?
Krennic, he was grilling Deidre, like
Yeah.
when you were talking about how she did stuff that wasn't by protocol and whatnot. Dude, I loved this scene and the dynamic with the ISB and the Empire here. Which, by the way, Ben Mendelsohn, homeboy's getting old. He's got full-on Ian McKellen grandpa ears going. Like, his ears are twice the size they were in Rogue One. In this episode, it was the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh, our boy's getting old. But he still killed it. Yeah, there you go. Get those elf ears going. But he killed it, dude. He was super intimidating when he was grilling Deidre. Deidre's just pissing herself as he's pressing her. And then the scenes with him and Partagaz and the save the sermon for Palpatine there. And you could just sense the dread between these officers of, we know we all screwed up here. This is bad news. Who's going to take the brunt of this? Because Palpatine's about to be pissed. So I love the whole Empire and ISB scenes in this episode. I think it was my favorite part of the whole episode.
And Krennic was a great substitute for Palpatine. Like, obviously, we wanted maybe one scene with him, but having Krennic as that kind of voice for him, you know, it was great.
I liked it better with just the boogeyman name drops for Palpatine.
Right.
I thought that worked really well with this.
So episode 12. Oh, so this is them escaping the
Mm-hmm.
Luthen safe house. K2,
K2.
K2, dude, they're just standing there waiting, and then all of a sudden K2 shows up, takes everybody out one by one. He's so
The guy,
badass.
the guy, are you with us? No. Backhands him over the bridge. Bro, the dude K2 is just running through people, crushing them. Like, oh my gosh. Picks up Officer Hirt, who's like one of the main characters who is, taken over from Deidre, picks him up and just uses him as a body shield. Like, that was a
Yeah.
nonchalant death for a main character of this season.
Mm-hmm.
He just got picked up by K2 and was shot like 8 times and tossed to the side.
Oh
Like,
my god.
dude, this was the rescue scene was awesome because of K2.
He's like, I've cleared a path.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Patagras, he's about to lose his head. Like, he knows it. This failure will probably be his last. But he takes himself out instead of, facing the music.
Dude. Which, so one, that was gnarly because he did that and it cuts to the outside scene. And I thought the officer was going to hear the blaster and be like, and run back in. No, the officer hears the blaster. The stormtroopers react and he just calmly puts a hand up, like, yeah, ignore it. Like, he knew Partagaz was about to just blow his brains out right there. So, just the whole atmosphere with the Empire and the mentality of the officers, like, he just strolls out of there, like, yep, he's got to kill himself now. It was intense. So, and I think we got another Star Wars first. I think it's the first time somebody's committed suicide in Star Wars. Kind of twice, because Luthen tried to as well, but he didn't succeed fully.
Interesting.
Have we had somebody shoot themselves in the head in Star Wars? I think that was the first suicide for us.
Yeah. Interesting.
There you go. They said shit last season, and now they're killing themselves in this season. So who knows what'll happen next?
No lights, no Jedis.
No,
Acolyte?
even though the one that showed up with Palpatine should have. Save some freaking honor instead of going out the way they did. Acolyte.
Did it happen?
Did somebody?
I don't know.
No.
No.
No. Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know. That shows a long in the. It's in the back of my head. I forgot about it.
Let's stick with the positive Star Wars stuff.
Sorry. No Acolyte mentions on this podcast. So yeah, we go to Yavin and there's a council with Mon Mothma, and Saw Gerrera is being questioned, and he has a freaking Star Destroyer. Like, dude, take it easy, man. Like, you need to chill out a little bit. You're gonna get caught. And they're like, bro, you need to like relax. Like, you have a Star Destroyer. They're really onto you. Let's take it back a little bit, huh?
Dude, Saw's a maniac. Mon Mothma too, by the way, the OG hairdo.
Yeah.
As soon as she got to Yavin, we saw that, which is a terrible hairdo, by the way. Her hairdo was much better on Coruscant, or wherever they were. But yeah, we got OG Mon Mothma. Oh, sorry, we forgot to mention before Partagaz killed himself. He killed himself while he's listening to the Rebel Manifesto from season 1, and I thought this was so cool because you're seeing it in his face for the first time. He's realizing, oh, this rebellion thing is serious. Like, they didn't take it seriously for so long, and it was, they're pathetic where the Empire were so, and it was cool to see Imperial officers getting that realization of, we might be in trouble. This might be too big to handle at this point. So I loved that scene and how they use that manifesto audio.
Right. And Cass is in big trouble. He comes back to Yavin. He's in big doo-doo now. But he has an ace up his sleeve. A planet-sized ace up his sleeve. Planet-destroying size ace up his sleeve, excuse me. He tells the council all about it, and it sounds like a paranoid fantasy to him. They don't believe him at all. Surprise, surprise. He's given Luthen his flowers, and he's run down by people who have given a fraction of what he did. They've never met him. They don't know who he is. Mon Mothma tried to kind of step in and say something, but she was quickly overpowered by everyone else because she is the other one who actually knows Luthen for who he was. Mm-hmm. So how'd you like Andor standing up for Luthen here? You gotta love that, right?
One of my favorite scenes of the season for sure. Great acting by Diego Luna in this. Like, I believed it. I was getting goosebumps as he was getting so passionate about defending Luthen and everything that he had done, and so angry about the people just disrespecting this guy who died for this. Like, it was just great. So I thought it was a really heavy scene. I thought Mon Mothma, I forgot her actress's name, but I think she acted really great in the scene too, though. Yeah, there you go. How could I forget? But in her, like, struggling, wanting to step in and say something, but like almost like held back by stuff, and seeing Cassian step up for Luthen this way, it was a great scene. And you always love the rebel leaders getting put in their place because that happens constantly.
Right. Mon Mothma breaks the news to Vel, and she needs help making people believe Cassian. Like, Vel says, you want me to spy on him? And she's like, no, make me believe him. And Will gets the news, and it's kind of like all his stepkids he brought in and raised are finding out that their dad died. We have Wilman, Vel, Clea, Cassian, kind of lesser, more of like a leader than a dad, but those three were kind of like his kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was tough. Will finding out about it, but Cassian's line of, he made it worth it, Will. It was a nice little touch.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And they do a toast to everyone they lost. This is Vel and Andor now. And it's funny how she says, Mon Mothma wants to know if your Luthen story is real. She just come out and says it flat, like, that even plays, like. And she asked about Bix, and he says, she wouldn't be safe with me. And she says, don't wait too long to reach out. Another kind of tragic line there, because he does wait too long.
Right. Yeah, he did. He did. I love that scene though. So they're sitting there, I think, and then K2 walks in. The man you don't like is here. It's just Bail Organa standing right there.
That's funny.
It was funny. We get the "May the Force be with you" dropped.
Yeah, right.
May the Force be with you, Captain.
And Kafrene. There's a Kafrene mention, so this is where Andor is being sent to, which is the planet he begins Rogue One on. So we're getting this whole mission set up for what happens in the movie.
So he's going there to somewhat rescue this guy, right? But I think that's the guy he shoots in the opening scene in Rogue One, because the guy's freaking out going, how are we going to get out of here? They know they're going to catch us. And he's like, hey, calm down. He just shoots him and then proceeds to escape. So I think he got the information from him and then just straight up killed him.
That makes sense with this character. He's a liability at that point.
Yeah, you got to do it, a little bit of Luthen in everybody.
And as the episode wraps up, we kind of get a couple catch-ups with our characters. Mon Mothma's husband has a new chick. He looks pretty depressed, drinking a lot. Apparently there's a deleted scene. Did you see this? Where he says, I wish you would have just told me. I would have supported you all along. So apparently that was kind of what I was getting in the vibes in that moment too. Like, damn, my wife left me, and I would have been okay with it. I would have stayed with her even if she did denounce the Empire and everything. So
that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Wonder why they cut that out.
Deidre is in prison. Looks like the same prison Andor was in.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is she building the Death Star in the same prison? And when I saw the bunk, I thought Andy Serkis was gonna walk by or something. I thought we're gonna get a little cameo of him because he's stuck there. He didn't make it off. He can't swim.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were gonna get a glimpse, but we didn't.
I would, if they were gonna do any spinoff. I mean, they're probably not going to, but I would take a Deidre or a Clea spinoff. Because Clea would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what she does, I guess, from this point. But it's obviously not going to be anything that significant with what we know is coming up here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm good with the spinoffs on this.
How did Deidre survive, though? Would you give her? What were your odds of her surviving before the season started? Probably pretty low, right?
Oh, I for sure thought she was dying. Yeah, no. I did not think she would be alive at the end of this. I also didn't think she'd be in an Imperial prison, but I didn't think she would be alive.
Andor is about to head off, and he gives that look to the Jedi healer who is now on Yavin as well. That almost got me for a second, like the Force leading him to, get the plans for the Death Star. Like everything is in motion. So I really did like
Yeah.
that aspect.
Yeah. Reminder.
Krennic looking out at the Death Star, kind of Revenge of the Sith esque, was pretty cool, but it's more complete now. And Bix, of course, we talked about it. Bix has the child on that same cornfield planet, interstellar planet, looking off into the horizon to see if maybe he'll come back. That's what I kind of was seeing, where she like maybe goes out there every day, looks out, sees if maybe he's gonna come back. So just another that was a very sad scene.
What a depressing way to end your day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right? At least the droid's there, though, because they just straight up ditched him a few episodes ago, so I'm glad he's still around.
I feel like they made a point to show him, like, hey, Bix is with him. Yeah. They didn't totally abandon. Bix came back.
He's still here. He's still here. Don't be mad at us.
So let's wrap it up with some overall thoughts and a rating for the season as a whole. Dave, would you like to go first?
Sure. Yeah, overall, it was another solid season. It started off slow. I think they really could have made some improvements in the first 6 episodes there. If they wanted to match up to season 1, I think season 1 still takes the cake for me between the 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. But I really love how they finished it, how they led into Rogue One. I thought that was done really well. And it was just more quality Star Wars. Tony Gilroy does a great job at this. He does a great job telling this kind of Star Wars story. I love the additions. Everything we got into the Empire and the ISB I thought was awesome. Great acting as always. Some pretty solid conclusions for the characters we got in season 1. So overall, they did a really good job with most things. It's just, it was such a slow start for me that it took away a little bit from the overall quality of the show. Of the season as a whole. But again, those last 3 episodes, even the last 5 episodes, those were amazing. Like really, really good. So overall, I'm looking at my ratings right now. Season 1, I had a 9.2 for Andor season 1. I obviously liked it pretty, substantially there. I think a rating for season 2, I think I'm going like 8.7 out of 10. It was solid. Could have made some improvements, but overall, I really enjoyed it. Another quality Star Wars edition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was kind of sad when it ended. Like, I felt like I didn't appreciate it enough while it was there, and then it was over, and I was like, damn, like, I'm not going to get to see these characters really. I mean, Rogue One, obviously, but yeah, I was sad it was over. Like, I was really entrenched in that rebel world, and I wanted to get more and more and more. So amazing show. Yeah, like you said, it started off slow, finished with a bang. Would have liked to see a couple more stories end, but the ones that did were pretty amazing. Luthen, all-time legend for Star Wars, new love for Mon Mothma, and I can't wait to rewatch Rogue One. I should have done it sooner, but still going to get it in the next couple days here. So I had season 1 at an 8.5. Kept it a little lower, I guess. I feel like I would boost it up maybe a couple points, but I think I like season 1 slightly more than this. So I'm going to put it at an 8.4. So I'm going to put it 1 point below season 1. So I'd probably say, the first 6 were like a 7.5, and then the last 6 were like a 9.5, and then, put it right in the middle right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I think at least a couple of those episodes in the last half of the season were 9+ for me.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 8, probably 9
10.
and 10, probably. I don't know. Yeah, 10 for sure with Luthen.
11 and 12 were a little lower, but
I really, so when episode 11 ended, I really enjoyed it just because, again, we got a lot more looks into the Empire. Krennic was in it, Partagaz. I really enjoyed it. And we got K2 and Cassian. We got great K2 and Cassian moments in those last 2 episodes too. So, man, if we would have had what the last few episodes were for a full season, this would have been incredible. Would have beat out season 1 for me. But again, still, it was a pleasure getting a quality Star Wars product brought out. And JD out there had a little proxy rating too. Want to throw it out there for you. So JD had it at 8.2. His pluses for it was the writing, cinematography, and perspective on the Empire, and his negative was slow, could have been condensed more. And I totally agree with that. Again, I don't think we needed the dinner with Cyril's mom. I don't think we needed Mon Mothma raving for that long. There's a few other things I don't think we quite needed to stick around with for so long.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so let's see here. Episodes I'm on IMDb right now. Season 2. So the finale is a 9.6. Episode 11, 9.5. Episode 10, 9.6. Episode 9, Welcome to the Rebellion, is a 9.7. And then the Gorman Massacre, episode 8, is a 9.8.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so the last 5 are all over a 9.
Over a 9.6, it sounds like. That's crazy.
With like 14,000 rankings or more on all of them, too. Ratings.
I mean, episode 9, Welcome to the Rebellion, was great, too. That was the speech and everything in the Senate. I mean, that was incredible. There were some amazing moments in that. So, yeah, there's probably 3 or 4 9+ episodes there.
Right. Well, thank you for joining us. I know we took a little bit to get this second half out, but, we're busy guys. Got a lot of things going on, a lot of movies and shows. We get a little distracted sometimes, but we're always there in the end. So thank you, and we'll see you next time on Why So Sidious, a Nerd Podcast. And Why So Sidious burns their lives to make a sunrise that they know they will never see.
Yeah. I guess we could end it if you wanted. We could stick around a little longer. You guys want to talk more Andor?